But first, I want everybody to stand up. Because we had this exercise when we were in Kenya at Connected Africa Summit. And they invited me to the stage. And we sang a song from my kindergarten days. And everybody, if you know the song, the words, sing along. Otherwise, you just make the movements. And it goes like this. You put your right foot out, you put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourselves around. That's what it's all about. Yeah! And now everyone will listen and pay attention because I was also falling asleep already, so. How would you?
Well, sit here. Or would you? I think it's...
Maybe you want to sit in the middle?
Yeah,
in the center?
then
Perfect.
you will be under crossfire.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
The
well,
Estonian version of Crossfire.
he sang in English, which slightly indicates that he's somewhat transatlantic. He went to the kindergarten in Vancouver, Canada.
In Toronto.
In Toronto. Well, Estonian, but still born in Canada. And the main axis of Estonian diplomacy is also, I would say, transatlantic, mostly. NATO, US, EU, and so on, which is something Daniel has almost never done, I think. He has been our guide to solve the unconventional, really difficult puzzles. I remember the first time I met him was in Kabul in 2009 or 2008. He was the head of our Estonian mission there, one-man diplomatic mission in a hotel under really serious security conditions. Then he was the guide to solve Estonia's so far, fortunately, only serious hostage crisis in Lebanon. And then after that, he has been concentrating on Africa. He has lived in Rwanda, but not as an ambassador still yet. But so it's only fair that now he gets his own embassy in Africa, in Nairobi. And, well, let's see. How do you justify the choice of you as the ambassador in Nairobi?
Thank
you
you
want me
very
to justify why I was chosen?
We'll ask you some questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Evelyn, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? Come on, how's everyone doing? Okay, a bit of energy. This is the last session. Thanks for your patience and waiting. Ambassador, very, very excited to have this conversation with you. As Evelyn said, your history or your experience has taken you to some of the toughest places on the planet. Hostage situation, being in Kabul, obviously not very easy. Just walk us through how you've arrived to where you are today and how all of that prepares you for the task that is the African continent.
Yes, thank you very much, and happy to see you all still here with us. I know it's been a long day already, but I'll try to share a little bit about my experience. I've told some before. My first time on the continent was in 2004. I observed the elections in Burundi, and I still remember the smell of the fresh earth when the door opened of the airplane, and the nice warmth came into the airplane. And every time that I arrive in a different country in Africa, there's always something different. There's always a new experience. And really, we talked a lot about the 54 different countries. I mean, it's 100% true. Every country is completely different. So in addition to Burundi, I observed the elections in Congo DRC. You might know a place called Rutshuru, which is where currently maybe I think it's a little bit calmer now, but where the fighting took place with the M23. It was quite a rough area there at that time as well. I observed the elections in Kenya in 2007, and I was in Kericho. So we were evacuated from there because we couldn't get to the airport to fly back. So I think all of my experiences have been like that, and hopefully this one will be a little bit more relaxed.
Some peace would be nice.
Yes, and I've been very lucky. I've visited 37 countries on the continent. So when we did the UN Security Council campaign, I visited 30 countries. And the best game that I played was when we visited Botswana with our president. then the Botswana ambassador to Estonia, who was there as well, asked me, what is my favorite country in Africa? A very dangerous question. So I said, please just tell me the name of a country and I'll tell you something that I like about each country or that I know or that's interesting. And the funny thing was a lot of the facts that I told her, she didn't know herself. So I think, that is sort of shows my love for the continent and I think explains it all why I'm really excited to move in September.
You have been our leading Africa diplomat for more than 15 years. So I would presume that Ministry of Foreign Affairs very much relies on your expertise. So how much say did you have in the choice of Kenya as the place for the first embassy in Africa? Apart from Cairo, of course, but still.
Well, I think everyone has already mentioned, who were speaking, the minister himself as well, that it's a multi-prong approach. So, I think a lot of influence has been from the fact that our Estonian Joel, who's sneaking out of the door there, he's based in Kenya. And then SDev team, I don't know if any of the SDev team is here. There we have an office based in Kenya. So I think those definitely influenced the process. And of course, I was able to influence the decision making. And I guess a lot of people ask also, why not South Africa? And the easy question is that South Africa is our number one trading partner. And it's a number one export destination. So it seems to be that a lot of the companies are doing things on their own. They already have those connections. And we feel that in Nairobi and in East Africa is where we need to work a little bit more to build these bridges. And I think that's why a lot of people are from that region here. And that's why we're also looking at opening the embassy there.
Now Estonia is often cited as one of the world's digital success stories. As many as 10 unicorns have emerged from a population of 1.3 million people. And the common thread is that Estonia is a very, very small country, but has been able to do the incredible. Now, how do you see Estonia creating value for Africa and Africa doing the same for Estonia? Where is a common ground?
No, I think it's a good question, and we've been coming to Africa with the ICT cluster, for example, for over 10 years, and we've done a lot of big things with SDev. We've got a lot of projects, but I think it's time to bring it to the next level. So the topic that we've been discussing here today, and I think for that to happen, is we have to have those real partnerships between Estonia and whichever African partners on the ground, and I think that we've had a lot of focus on B2G, but I think B2B is an area that we haven't really tapped yet, and I think that's where we have experiences to share. I think the Bolt example is a good one. It's on making things more efficient. Almost all of our unicorns are taking a process and making it more efficient. Skype, the telephone, Bolt, the taxi, Wise, the money transfer. So I think what we're really good at in Estonia is how to re-engineer solutions. And I think it goes even back to our history with Africa. I don't know if you know, but Emperor Haile Selassie in Ethiopia, the head of his sort of motor park and all of the machinery was an Estonian. And so Estonians are really good at fixing things and building things. And again, as you heard throughout the day, we don't have all the people. So what do we need? We need the African people to help us build things that work, are more efficient, and we share our experiences, and hopefully we're able to build things that will be last on the ground, that be managed by those on the ground, and then we also learn how to make our own systems more efficient.
What difference will the fact that we will have an embassy on the ground make?
Well, the first thing is that I won't have to see the same faces only once a year here at the Africa Business Forum. I can see them far more often in the field and on the ground. And it also gives us a stable location based in Africa to build these relations. And again, you heard it many times. I mean, I'll keep on repeating because everybody said these things. You have to be on the ground. And that's the message that we say to our companies. Yes, we understand, they might not be opening that office. But if you're not, if you have to follow up the first lead that you make here, and I think that, we've had a lot of invitations, come to Africa. But from the Estonian side is we also have to build those relations prior to them coming to Africa. And I think that's something that we can help with by being already on the continent. We can find the right partners. We can make those introductions already. And then the Estonians will be more opportune to come to the continent. It's not a cheap trip. Mm. So, I mean, just to come and say hello and see who maybe I'll get a chance is not so easy. The Estonians are very practical. And again, that's what I always mention when I'm speaking at events. If you want to work with an Estonian, make sure you know exactly what you're looking for, what's your concrete proposal, because all of the Estonians are on the internet. All the information is available down to the company's last financials. So if you don't know that, then you haven't done enough homework yet to partner with your Estonian companies.
Daniel, if we take a look at the history of Estonia, a lot of suppression over the years, very, very similar to many African countries. The difference is that Estonia has transformed itself from a small nation into a globally recognized innovation economy. Now, if Africa, outside of excuses, could draw one lesson from Estonia, what would that lesson be?
I think that it's regional integration. If we weren't part of the European Union, if we weren't part of the free market, if we didn't have access to the infrastructure, to movement, then we wouldn't be where we are today. 70% of our trade is inter-EU. It's our closest neighbors who are our biggest markets. They're the ones we know the best. I mean, I think it's an easy, a no-brainer question. I think the challenges, for example, is the infrastructure in Africa. I visited the 4 Indian Ocean islands in 2 weeks, and every time I had to fly back to the mainland from the islands because there wasn't a single flight between the islands. We have the same challenge here in Estonia because we're really on. Everybody who flew here probably understands. We're really on the end of the EU here. So, I mean, making these connections, making the border crossings easier, I mean, making the life easier for the citizen, but also for the business person. And I see that they're already taking those steps. Recently, there's been several announcements of visa-free travel for Africans to African countries. And I think that's really one of the keys to working is getting these contacts, making doing business easier.
Well, you mentioned the logistics as one of the concerns. What are the other things that an investor looking for an African market should be prepared for?
Well, I think one of the messages that I've also, when I go to Africa, that I said the one country that makes the legal basis in place easy to open your company, easy to clear taxation system that constantly is in place, doesn't change, and has a very good justice system, will have all of the startups, all of the companies registered in that country. I mean, I think it's a travesty that for an African startup to get financing, it has to be registered in Delaware or in London or even in Estonia. So I mean, I think that the one country that gets all of those checks in line will really be the one to attract all of the investment. And the other thing is the Estonian story, which wasn't really mentioned by Bolt, is that those who made the exits reinvested back into the startups and back into the companies, back into the education system. Code Yuffie, code now also code Nairobi, is financed by our business people. Because they see they need these people to help them grow, and I think that is a big area. There's a lot of successful rich people in Africa, and for them to reinvest back into these excellent ideas would make things grow far quicker than they are today.
Kenya a lot of countries in East Africa are friends of Estonia, right? Your mandate is for your ambassador to Kenyan ambassador to South Africa. Just how much work do you need to do with the rest of Africa to bring us to the level where at next year's African Business Forum, we've got a lot more representation from Sub-Saharan Africa, from Southern Africa?
Well, I mean, it's sort of a two-way street. As much as I go to my countries, the same needs to be done by my fellow ambassadors. And I know one of our ambassadors is here today, Namibia, and you know, those who come regularly. My colleague Bolozi from Kenya, also I see her here often as well. So I mean, the countries that come and introduce themselves and present these opportunities, those will also be. I'm only one person, and I'll have one more diplomat in the team, and we'll have a team of 10 people. So I mean, we won't be able to cover the continent. So again, whoever comes with a concrete ask, who makes a concrete proposal, they're the ones that we're going to help with. And it's not by mistake that these countries who here are present. They're present here because we have concrete things that they want to do with us, and we want to do with them. So it's a reciprocal relationship, and it's difficult if somebody approaches me, which often I hear a lot. Let's do something. I said, yes, I'd love to do something, but tell me, what is it you want to do? No, but you guys are great in this and great in that. I said, yes, thank you, but how can I help you? And then it's, you know, often it's a very interesting, you know, very, you know, intelligent discussion on how to, you know, help the youth and how to build our tech system. But still, how can I help you? I mean, and I think really that the concreteness of what the Estonians have, I think that's something that we can, that, you know, that actually works in some way. Where the Africans are very, you know, open and discuss, you know, very, very opening and telling about everything, and then the Estonians will balance that with saying, well, let's do something concrete as well. So even though the personalities are different, I think they actually sort of yin and yang work together.
You mentioned the numbers already. 2 diplomats, 10 other people. Could you describe a bit the technicalities of the embassy? Who will do what? What will those people be concentrating on in your first ever Africa embassy?
Well, my dear colleague Kadi is here in the corner. She's going to be the one that's joining me as a diplomat. And you saw the SDev team already waved, and Joel's come back again. So we all have our own tasks, and we, you know, Joel focuses on business, SDev will focus on the development cooperation projects. You know, so it's easy for them. It's for Kadi and myself to represent all of the other possible questions. Eventually, yes, we'll be issuing visas, other consular topics, everyone's favorite topic. But then we also will be covering other countries formally, including South Africa, which I'm also already accredited to. And then, as you mentioned, you know, how do I build more? So probably. More sub-Saharan requests will keep on coming to us, even if we're not officially accredited to them. And as was mentioned by the Secretary General, is that the regional approach. So I think we're going to look a lot more at how we can do things in the regional way, because that's what was successful for us, and that's what we know. So regional integration, all of these topics, I think are really, really key. And I think I hope that the African Free Trade Agreement will get some traction soon and really get moving, because I think that's really one of the keys for the future.
Okay, final question. We like to keep time. Now, if we were to have this conversation on May 26, 2031, which is 5 years from now, and you were successful, as we imagine you will be ambassador, what will success look like for you?
I think it's a good question, and this morning you already heard one of my KPIs from the Secretary General, but honestly, I mean, I think the main success is that Estonia is better known throughout the continent, that we have more friends, You know that there's a war going on in Ukraine that is an existential question for us, and we see if our time has to come that we have to defend ourselves. We hope that we have more friends who know that we're actually pretty cool people, and are really there to be friends with you as well. So I think that the other side of things, I hope that also Africa is better known in Estonia, and not outside of the business aspects. I hope there's more cooperation in terms of development cooperation, but also I see a lot of potential in culture. We love to sing, so a choir that I sang for, and the conductor already asked me, can I organize something for him in South Africa? So I mean, I think we have a lot in common. Not only in terms of history, but Estonians really love to sing. And yes, we're slow to get going, but there's a saying that the party never ends once we get the party started. So so I think that it's hopefully we'll be able to do some networking today, and then you'll see the Estonians in the beginning are slow, but then we never stop. So so again, welcome to Estonia.
Fantastic. I think that's going to be our... Did you have one quick question?
No. I was wondering whether we will let somebody else ask.
Yeah, I concede my closing remarks for one burning question for Daniel from the crowd. Yes, okay.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Daniel. I had an opportunity to talk with you. I'm Norbert, I'm from Rwanda. I know you have Rwanda in your place, in your heart somewhere. I wanted to ask two questions. Yes. One easy one and a tough one. Right, so I start with the tough one. Yes. What is one red flag you think Estonians have when it comes to doing business outside of Estonia, which is a big red flag which causes some issues? I have an idea, but I want you to tell me. And the lighter one is sorry but not sorry. I think 2 months ago, Estonia was in Rwanda in football. We scored 2-0, if I remember correctly. It was sad, but yeah, I was happy for my country. But I wanted to ask, in terms of sports, or are you looking for entertainment partnerships as well? I know like there are some Estonians in the World Cup cycling competition in Rwanda again, I think in the beginning of this year. So how about sports and entertainment? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'll take the easy one. We beat Kenya the game before that. So, and we had also a lot of young players there. You know, the long flight and everything. So you know, but honestly, no, we do love sports, and we're looking at doing some cooperation in terms of the anti-doping area with our Ministry of Culture. There's regular song festivals here. There's the folk festival in Viljandi that was talked about. So I think there's a lot of areas for cooperation, and I think Liisi and Latitude 59 also had quite a world famous singer, musician, investor that came as well. So I mean, I think we can do sports, music, and investment. They work all very well all together. The challenge for Estonians, and I think I've been mentioning it here the whole time. I mean, we're used to just sending our offer, and this is the product. Here's the price. Does it meet your specs or not? So when we were in Dubai, I was also the Commissioner General of the Estonian Pavilion, and when we met with one of the ministers there, it was only after the 5th time that she said that now we've become friends. Now we can start talking about the business. Another example, we were during the UN Security Council campaign with our minister, one of our ministers of foreign affairs, had a bilateral meeting. The meeting was planned for 30 minutes. In 5 minutes, he had read his speaking notes, and then he said, well, I don't have anything else to say, because you were not used to talking about the family and how was the farm and how was your nyama choma and or how was your akabens in Rwanda. So, I mean, I think we're slowly starting to understand that. And I think that from the government side, we are also supportive of our business people, and we're coming together hand in hand. And I think the Estonians will pick up that part as well. That I think Gerald brought it out in his presentation, that sometimes the relationship is even more important than the product and the price itself. So pole pole for those who speak Swahili, and hopefully haraka haraka. We'll get on that move as well very soon.
Right. Aye. How much time do you have? Can you take one more?
Yes, we can take one more.
No, I need to. Who goes first? Okay.
Thank you. I would like to. I'm from Tanzania Embassy. What do you think Africa government and the private sector need to do to tap the opportunity and the potential available in Estonia? Because, you know, Africa is unique, and we need to find out the model that can be complementary to each part. So what do you think we need to do to utilize? Because I see you have a lot, but untapped yet. Thank you.
Daniel, let me combine.
Good afternoon, Ambassador. My name is Bashir. My question is about education. I noticed that one thing that I can say about Estonia is that it's very, very big on education. And it's something that is highly, I think, undersold. Now, what are the plans in terms of engagement in Africa for the wonderful education system that you have here in Estonia? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll take the second one first. And
Before you take that, I just want to add one more to it. And it's very good to know that, yes, we have gathered 54 countries in this room. Yeah, predominantly on one region. But it's also good to know that SDEV and Finland will be implementing an EU Global Gateway project in Nigeria. And for me, it's important to also say, how do we ensure that such opportunities of an EU Global Gateway would help build equal opportunities? It would move from just transaction, as you've said, to a co-creation and a shared prosperity. And then also the issue of mobility. Mobility is a two-pronged approach. Is it a cherry picking, or is it that anyone with an idea, anyone with an opportunity, just as Estonia has made it, and any African that has such ideas will be able to say, I can also take a trip, or I can partner with an Estonian company to create that sustainable development that we're looking at. Thank you.
I've taken the mic away, so I don't have, I'm going to sit at the front.
Yes, so let me see if I remember all the questions. But the education component, I mean, I think what we're doing and led by SDEV is that we understand that it has to be the teachers who have to be the ones to spread, the education system. We've really moved away from teaching page 1 to 3 on day 1, page 4 to 6 on day 2, whereas the teacher is responsible for the student understanding what they are being taught, rather than memorizing and repeating that. And I think the challenge with technology is that the teachers have to also know how the technology works. So I think we need to definitely invest more into teachers, and I think that's one of the sectors that we're working with a lot of the universities currently in Africa. Again, as we've heard many times, our model might not be perfect for everywhere else. So I think that these types of experiences are the key that we can share in the education area. The other area is that paper that you get from university no longer guarantees you a job. There's still a lot of people graduating from university in Africa, and it's very difficult to understand what is the quality of that paper. What does that paper mean? So I think the accreditation process or some sort of a certification process, I've spoken to Code about that as well, that if they're able to develop a short, like a 2-week period and say, yes, this person now meets some sort of an international standard, I think that would be very efficient, especially in the technical areas. In terms of Nigeria and Global Gateway, any opportunity that comes to us where there's a very concrete partnership, that was a request from the Nigerian side to the European Union and to us, those are the perfect things that we're looking for. For our difficulty is when somebody comes and says, let's do something. And first come and visit, spend the money to travel to our country, and then we'll show you, we'll bring you to all of the ministers, and I know the president's daughter or something like that, we're going to bring you there. That doesn't attract Estonians to the partnership. It's really those who say, I have this, I want the interoperability system, or I'm missing this component to do my e-governance, or I'm missing this component in my education system. And I think that's the only way that also that the African side will have their say. I lived in Rwanda for 4 years. Their program there is there's 3 donors per sector and 3 sectors per donor. So the donor wasn't the one saying, I'm going to come and bring you this and I'm going to build this to you. Rwanda was telling them what the donor is going to do. And I think that's the only fair way. We've been there. IMF told us not to bring our own currency. They told us to stay with the ruble when we became independent. So we've been there where you guys are as well. So I mean that's the way you give the real development to the African countries, is when you know yourself what you want and what you need. The last question was about building contacts. As I mentioned, all of the Estonian companies, I don't know if there's any Estonian company who's not on the internet. And if they're not on the internet, then they're on LinkedIn. If they're not on LinkedIn, then their company has to be in our e-business registry. Anybody in this room can go to that e-business registry, put that company's name into the e-registry, and also see their last business results. 2024 is already passed in terms of mandatory. 2025 results are soon. So I mean, do the homework. The information is out there, and the last thing our companies, you're also asking about, what are the Estonians? The Estonians also do not like having questions asked to them. What can you do for me? If you want to work with that Estonian company or that Estonian partner, you have to have shown that you've done your homework and you understand what is the potential for us to cooperate with you. And we're trying to do the opposite to help the Estonian companies understand what are the offers. So one of the things that we're doing is an export portal where all of the Estonian companies can register themselves, put in what type of industry they're looking in, and once the embassy gets a lead, we put that into the export portal, and all of the companies who have registered themselves for having an interest in that country or in that topic will receive that information. So again, it's that communication, doing your homework. Today's day and age, ChatGPT, whatever AI you're using, I mean, there's no excuse for not doing your homework before you request something from a foreign partner.
Thank you very much, Daniel and the team, Hugo and Evelyn. Now you know why we chose Kenya.